this is a landmark protest for 21st century. This protest is important for more than one reason, because you will just never see anything different in any protest happening in 21st century. It's at least now onwards, because it has all the major features: a lot of fake news, huge propaganda, huge social campaigning, people manipulating you by their tears, by religion, by caste, by language. They're trying to divide you on the basis of your diversities. The very thing which we used to think as our strength, our diversity, has been used to divide us. Now, all those things are there in this farm protest. This is a protest to be studied academically. Okay, the first point that's totally off the beat in this farmers' protest is that the three farm laws target basically on those kind of crops which are grown in basically northwestern India. It's not that rice and wheat are not grown in south, but a major part of it, on which country India depends, comes from this north and west northwest part. You can think that it can be a strategy of the power, the center, to keep the farmers divided. So the farmers who are in horticulture, the farmers who are literally the dogs, the dogs just bark for no reason, even when they're on social media. Having said that, you can think it as the strategy of the center to keep the farmers divided, because the problem of Punjab farmers and Haryana farmers is different from that of Bengal or Kerala, because the three farm laws are segregational. They are segregational. They are not exploiting all the farmers equally. So leave benefiting. It's not benefiting anyone. As a farmer, you will not be benefited. The industrialists all over the country will be benefited extensively, but farmers will not be so much benefited. But it's more exploitative to Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Haryana, and like the four major states of North India. So when these four major states are turned into the labor market, it will be like huge labor for the international market, for the down south. Okay, let's come to the second point. I'm cutting it short. The second point is, with these three farm laws, there'll be huge export of the goods which need to be first equitably distributed in the India itself. So the export will be eased. The world needs India to export. The trade should be between the farmers and the wealth of the Israel, if the export is taken to that direction. But that's not happening. What's happening? A big middleman like some Ambani, some Adani will come, and all the benefit will be belonging to those corporate houses. And who will be cultivating the crops? The farmers. On whose land? Farmers' land. By whose electricity bill? Farmers' electricity bill. By whose water bill? Farmers' water bill. By compromising whose midnight sleep? Farmers. By compromising whose health? Farmers. But who is gaining from all this? Not farmers. Not farmers. Anybody loves money, yaar. If agriculture will go in so much of profit, why will farmers assist it? The only reason is that the money will not precipitate down to farmers, because there is a forceful insertion of the corporates in between. So that's the second point. The third thing is that's severely wrong with the farmers' protest is how the government is handling the protest. One, you are living in a democratic country. The government has come by democratic means. There is no way you can compromise with the democratic ideals because you have come through this process only in power. How can you say that there's too much democracy when the government has been formed by the process of democracy? The government needs to resign in that case if there's too much democracy, right? So yeah, of course it's on Amitabh Kant. I don't know, some Kant in PMO office, whatever. Okay. So the third thing is about the too much democracy. The way the government is handling it. The water cannons, the sleepless winter nights, the death due to cold. Are these examples of too much democracy? Or the way of handling the too much democracy? Having said that, the fourth thing that is wrong is that not a single measure has yet been taken to prevent the suicide at the protest sites. I shall give you the example of Iram Sharmila. She was on hunger strike. When she was on a hunger strike, she was being constantly fed through the mechanical means by the doctors, like fluid generally. The food was given in that liquid form. That's how it happens when somebody is sitting on the indefinite hunger strike. And she sat on hunger strike for almost 9 or 10 years. She did not die. Now, the farmers here are just consuming the poison, and the government is not finding new ways to prevent the death. If the deaths happen at protest sites, it's the responsibility of the government. If the death is a part of the protest, whether it's by hunger strike, indefinite hunger strike, suicide, or violent police, then the government is responsible. If I'm a farmer and I'm killed by a police bullet, the government is responsible. If I die of indefinite hunger strike, the government is responsible. If I die by suicide, government is equally responsible. It's happening at the protest site. The protest is a fundamental right, not so that more and more suicides happen, not so that more and more people come and die at protest site. The protest happens so that government understands the desperation of people for a change, the trauma the people are going through. The government needs to address the trauma before people end their life to avoid that trauma or after getting defeated by that trauma. The whole purpose of the protest is shattered when somebody is not able to handle the trauma and they have taken the poison and they've died. The government is answerable. There's a whole way you have to theorize the protest of the 21st century, because this is going to happen. Not everybody is Mahatma Gandhi. Everybody knows. Nobody can be so trained for hunger strikes for such a long time. People have found a shorter way which should really set the government off. If the government has a little bit of pain in its heart for the common people, how can you see your people consuming poison? This is not how we want India to grow up as. We don't want our children to tell the stories of farmers consuming poison at protest site and government giving a deaf ear. So, the third thing was this too much democracy, and the government really needs to address. When there is too much democracy, there isn't too much protest. When there is too much protest, it seriously means that the way the government is perceiving too much democracy is problematic. The fourth point, and I think the most important point, is what we are telling the world. What's the cost of Indian lives? What's the cost of the lives of the farmers whose food will feed the world? According to this new plan of the government of huge export of the agricultural goods. What's the value of the life of the people who are growing that food? They're dying on Delhi border. Seriously. You need to understand that this is the worst way of devastating your international reputation, by killing your people by suicide. So, if you think that the government has been very good at forging relations, trust me, you will not like a government of anywhere in the world. Suppose the Israeli government is just not concerned and there's a huge protest in Israel and 250 people have died just by either bullets, by accidents, or by suicide, and everything when they were the part of a protest, right? So what reputation will the Israeli government have in your mind when you're a common citizen of India? So is the reputation of Indian government in the minds of the people of the world who are seeing that our farmers are dying and the government is giving deaf ear. You are literally ruining your international relations, your reputation in the outside world. The fifth thing, which I just believe that most people are not noticing, is that our system is running on propaganda right now. It's not, you might be wondering, no, we all know that our system is running on propaganda. But I still want to say that you really don't know that our system is running on propaganda. Who is part of whose propaganda? We all believe as if we have taken a decision on ourselves, for ourselves, by ourselves, which is really not the case. You're living in an age of information bombardment, high profile manipulation, which happens from the way your choices are manipulated for wearing a particular dress through the Facebook profile of 10 people who are in your peer group, to voting for a particular party because there are 10 people in your peer group who support that party. You all are a part, a very big part of a huge propaganda. Just huge propaganda. The best thing you can do is don't side with anyone. Take your own stand. Make your own conclusions. If you do not disagree with at least 5 people in your life, it means you are literally living in a bubble. And that's what how the propaganda operates. People are targeted, harassed, and made uncomfortable to such a level when they are outspoken that they dumb down into a bubble of their own kind of people. Now, when you are in that situation where you're forced to agree to maintain just basic peace of mind, trust me, you are 200% manipulated. You really need to make a world where it's safe for you to be critical of at least 5 people who are really close to you, who you hang out with daily. If you can be critical of those 5 people, it means there is freedom of expression. Otherwise, there is literally no freedom of expression, which is very important for any sane decision making capacity. Do you disagree with your parents and you're still at home? Do you disagree with your best friend and you're still best friends on political matters? Do you disagree with your boss and you're still in the office? Damn it! I think this is the best test. This is the best test. And if that is not the case, take it in writing, you are manipulated. You are manipulated to the core. There's no way you can tell that you are not manipulated when you can't have differences with these people in your life. So, the fifth thing, and I think the most important thing, I am again saying it, which people have not noticed, is that they have got manipulated long back. Maybe after 2014 you have compromised with the idea of freedom of expression. You have stopped showing disagreement to your bosses, to your teachers, to your friends, and now even to your parents. We have got complacent in our world, and we have given up on our hope of being critical and still being at peace and still feeling safe in our relations. So the ununiform way of the farm laws affect is the first point. The second is the the way the corporates have been inserted between the farmers and the international prices. The third is the too much democracy thing. The fourth is that our international reputation of how the things are happening and how we are being looked at by the world. And the fifth is this propaganda thing, and that you are getting manipulated, you have gone manipulated, and you have compromised, you are living a compromised life right now. So in case you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon. And just don't forget that you have a responsibility towards this country. Bye bye.